What if caring for your skin was not about vanity at all? What if it could become a quiet act of gratitude, seen as an opportunity to care for the face that has carried your joy, your grief, your motherhood, your faith, your laughter, and every season that you have survived? Today, I'm putting royal jelly on my face. More specifically, I'm trying the JAFRA Royal Jelly Hydrating Lift Facial Serum. It's a product designed to help address dryness, dullness, visible lines, and the appearance of lost firmness. But I don't want to simply hold up a pretty bottle and tell you that it works. I want to know, what exactly is royal jelly? What is actually inside of this JAFRA serum? What can these ingredients realistically do for our skin? Is this a helpful hydrating serum, or are we just paying for the word royal? And how does all of this connect to Esther, a woman who spent an entire year in physical preparation before stepping into a role that would eventually require tremendous spiritual courage? Because I believe there is a meaningful difference between worshiping our appearance and lovingly tending to the body that God has given us. So today, we're going to talk about beauty, aging, royal jelly, some skincare science, Esther, and what it can mean to become more radiant in the expression of the life that we were created to live. Hello, my friend. Welcome or welcome back to You Are Worth It Health. I'm Rebecca Gordon. I'm a certified health coach, a wife, a mother, a woman living with multiple sclerosis, and a woman approaching 40, just a few months away, who is learning to think differently about beauty. I will confess, I am not a beauty guru. I don't have perfect skin. I don't have a flawless routine that I follow every morning and every night without ever getting tired or distracted or just forgetting. My skin has lived through pregnancies. I have 7 children, 3 of which I actually carried myself, and weight changes and stress, illness. I do have multiple sclerosis, sleepless nights, lots of sunlight, tears, laughter, fasting, motherhood. Like I said, 7 of them, and nearly 4 decades of life. I I don't necessarily want to just erase all of that, but I do want to care for my skin that's carried me through it all and kept me together. And I think there's an important difference between desperately just trying to look as though we had never lived and that we're still 20 forever, and lovingly caring for the body that has carried us through our entire lives. JAFRA, JAFRA, JAFRA. It has been part of my life since I was a child. I actually just found out that they're celebrating their 70th birthday this August. It's 2026, depending on when you catch this video. But my mom has used JAFRA for around 50 years. I was just talking to her this morning to confirm that it's right. And she said, well, technically, like 49 and a half. And I have personally used it myself or grown up surrounded by it, really my whole life. So I would say consciously for 30 years. And my sister, Angel, also known as Angela, she has been faithfully using JAFRA for so many years. This is not a company that suddenly just appeared in an advertisement on my phone. These products have been sitting on the bathroom counters, dressers, and vanities of the women in my family for most of my life. Really, all of it, honestly. I remember the containers. I remember the smell. I remember watching my mom care for her skin every morning and every night. And now that I'm approaching 40, I understand that ritual differently than I did when I was a child. Back then, skincare seemed like something grown women simply did. And now I recognize that those few minutes each day can become something much deeper. It's a moment to slow down. It's a moment to look at yourself without critiquing yourself, without criticism. It's a moment to care for the woman that's looking back at you. That history gives me kind of a love for Jafra, an affection that's it's not the same thing as evidence, so I don't wanna combine this series with evidence and whatever, but I wanna share the family history, the emotional connection, and just the honest experience of using these products. But I also want to examine the ingredients and understand the science, question the claims, and talk honestly about who a product may or may not be right for. Something my mom and I love about their products is that they are uh, really intended for all skin types and for all people because they're supposed to be gentle and as natural as possible. I'm not saying they're all organic or 100% whatever, blah, 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 but they are good products and they are really, truly good for your skin as far as I've experienced and my mom has experienced, and we just really do like them. Now, I'm not here to pressure you into buying something. Obviously, my mom is a JAFRA consultant and she has been forever. And she's given me permission to share her ordering link. It's in the description below. But again, I'm not here to pressure anyone into buying anything. My goal, my friend, is to help you understand that these products are really cool. And if you know the product well enough, then you can decide for yourself. So I want to just teach you about it. So the question then is, what is this JAFRA Royal Jelly Serum? This product that I'm holding is the JAFRA Royal Jelly Hydrating Lift Facial Serum. And according to JAFRA, it is designed to help improve the appearance of dullness, dryness, like lines and wrinkles. You know, if you're losing your radiance or loss of firmness also. The company recommends using 2 to 3 drops on clean, dry skin in the morning and at night, and then pressing it gently into the face and neck with kind of an upward motion. Jafra also reports that independent clinical testing showed immediate hydration once the serum was fully absorbed. And I want to pause on the word hydration because that is important. Hydrated skin often looks smoother, softer, brighter, and a little more plump. And when the surface of our skin is dehydrated, fine lines can appear more noticeable. So makeup may sit unevenly and the complexion can look dull or tired. So adding moisture does not permanently reverse aging, and it does not physically lift facial tissue in the way like a medical procedure might. But improving hydration can absolutely make skin look and feel healthier. That is a realistic expectation. And I would much rather begin with a realistic expectation than ask one serum to perform a miracle it was never capable of. No, let's be realistic and still excited. So let's apply it. Let's put it on the face. I have makeup on, so I'm not actually gonna do it in this moment, but if you had it, you would wanna put on the 2 to 3 drops, and you'll put it on one side of your face, and when you do use it the first time, I want you to put it on and then just kind of feel it and do a comparison and see, how does it feel? How does it look? Test it for yourself. You know, it's really a nice feel when you put it on. I just put it on earlier today, and it absorbs pretty quickly. And when I use it, it makes my skin feel smoother and conditioned. It doesn't feel heavily coated, which is a nice thing about this one. It also has a gentle fragrance to it, and it's something that I personally appreciate, and I associate it with my childhood memories of Jafra. Um, Some women really enjoy the fragrance. Jafra is actually really well known for their perfumes and such. I haven't used a lot of them, but I've heard that they're great. Neither preference is right or wrong. The current ingredient list in this, though, does include fragrance. And alongside with fragrance, it also has cinnamon alcohol, methyl 2-ocyanate, and oak moss extract. So, if your skin is extremely sensitive, it's something to consider. Just pay attention. I haven't felt any kind of burning or irritation with any of the Jafra products when I've used them. And I have used so many of them. But your skin is your skin, it's not mine. And one of the most loving things that we can do is to stop assuming that every popular product must work for every woman. All right, so what is royal jelly? Let's talk about the ingredient that gives that product its name. Royal jelly is actually a substance that's produced by worker honeybees. And if you know my channel, you know that I'm all into nutrition and health, and I am a certified health coach, and I'm very interested in things that come from nature. But it is used to nourish developing bee larvae, and the future queen receives it in a different and a sustainable way. Now, that is part of what makes royal jelly such a fascinating biological story. The queen bee becomes physically different from ordinary worker bees. She becomes larger, reproductive, and significantly longer lived. And because of that, royal jelly has developed an almost mythical type of reputation as a substance that's connected to vitality and nourishment, transformation, and longevity. But we need to separate the beauty of that story from the strength of the evidence. The fact that royal jelly plays an extraordinary role in bee development does not automatically mean that putting it on human skin is going to transform us into younger looking queens. Wouldn't that be cool? But no, human skin and bee development are very different biological systems. Let's talk about what we do know. What is true science? Royal jelly contains proteins, amino acids, fatty acids, sugars, vitamins, minerals, and other bioactive components. Scientific reviews have described antioxidant or anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and just tissue-related properties and benefits, but much of the available evidence does come from lab research and animal studies, or studies of royal jelly itself rather than like the exact finished skincare product that we have here. But there is some encouraging human research. A recent clinical study involving a royal jelly derived essence reported improved moisture levels in the outer layer of the skin, and it explored some possible effects on facial wrinkles, because that's what we care about, right? But that study involved a particular treated, royal jelly extract in a specific formulation. So I'm not saying that it can prove that every product containing royal jelly will produce the same results. The distinction does matter. An ingredient can be scientifically interesting without every marketing claim being guaranteed. I would describe royal jelly as promising and biologically fascinating, but it's not a proven fountain of youth. And honestly, I think that is still enough reason, to be curious about it. We don't need to exaggerate something in order to appreciate it. I know from experience and from the women I know that have used it that it really is an amazing product, and it does help. And the way that Jafra has utilized royal jelly is really just amazing. Okay, so what is actually in the JAFRA serum? Let's talk about that. One of the most important lessons in skincare is this. The ingredient printed in large letters on the front of the bottle is rarely working alone. This is not simply a bottle of royal jelly. It is a complete cosmetic formulation. The current ingredient list begins with water, followed by ingredients like butylene glycol, biosaccharide gum 1, glycerin, Ethanol, hydroxycellulose, pentylene glycol, allantoin, oat extract, royal jelly, botanical extracts, minerals, and it has some preservatives and some fragrance in it. So let's translate some of that into normal language. Glycerin is a humectant. That means it helps to extract and hold water near the outer layer of the skin. Glycerin is not glamorous. It does not have a royal name. It does not come with a queen bee story, but it is one of the reliable ingredients that may be contributing to the immediate hydrated feeling. The panthenol is related to vitamin B5. It's often used in skincare because it can help to support moisture and improve how comfortable and conditioned the skin feels. Allantoin, it's commonly used as like a soothing skin conditioning ingredient. Oat kernel extract is often found in products that are intended to help dry or sensitive feeling skin. You see it in like baby lotions and biosaccharide gum that can help form a light, it's like a moisturizing film over the skin. Now, the formula also contains mineral compounds that involve like zinc, magnesium, and copper. And then we have a collection of botanical extracts. JAFRA describes part of the botanical blend as its cell span complex. It's a Ayurvedic inspired group of ingredients that's intended to complement the royal jelly. The formula includes extracts connected to ashwagandha, holy basil, lotus, soybean, sunflower sprouts, oats and myrtle. And when I noticed myrtle in the ingredient list, that felt especially meaningful to me because Esther's Hebrew name was Hadassah. It's a name associated with the myrtle tree. I have a myrtle tattoo. Look, see? Because Esther's story and the symbolism of Hadassah have just meant so much to me. So, here I am holding a product called Royal Jelly, studying an ingredient list that includes myrtle while preparing a talk about the story of Esther. Now, that does not prove the product works, but it creates a beautiful connection for me. Sometimes an ordinary object opens the door to such just such a deeper reflection. So, what can this serum realistically do? Based on the formula, I think the most realistic immediate benefit is hydration. The humectants and skin conditioning ingredients can help the skin attract and retain moisture. When skin is better hydrated, it's going to feel softer, smoother, less tight, more comfortable, more radiant, and fine lines caused or exaggerated by dehydration may temporarily look less noticeable. The serum may also help to create a smoother surface beneath your moisturizer or your makeup. So over time, this consistently supporting the skin barrier, it can help to like improve the overall appearance and comfort of dry skin. But I would not tell you that this serum is going to stop aging. I'm not going to tell you it will permanently lift sagging skin. I'm not going to tell you it's going to remove every wrinkle. Look, see, I still have. But guys, I'm going to be 40 and really soon, just a few months. I think it's working. Okay, it's working. I would not tell you that aging itself is something to be ashamed of. I'm not going to tell you that this product is going to stop it. It won't. Aging is not a skincare failure. A wrinkle is not evidence that a woman has neglected herself. Skin, it changes because we are alive. Collagen production changes, hormones change, fat distribution changes, bone structure changes. Sun exposure accumulates. Our expressions leave their story behind. Our skin records life. I want to care for that skin without learning to hate it. That is the balance I'm trying to find and share with you. The part of beauty culture that really troubles me, it's that the beauty industry depends on convincing women that they are always one product away from becoming acceptable. One more serum, one more procedure, maybe just one more concealer or one more just filter or lifter or correction. We are taught to approach the mirror like an investigator, searching for evidence against ourselves. A new line, a dark spot. I gotta look, guys. I'm super annoyed with it. I get moles and freckles everywhere. And now look, I've got a new, like these skin colored moles. I don't like them. And look, I I honestly like try to sit in such a way so that you can't like see my double chin or my and I've been using like we do this to ourselves. We look, we investigate, we try to find the problem. And before long, skincare, it stops feeling like care and it feels like punishment. It becomes an endless effort to correct a woman who was never allowed to feel finished. And I don't want that. But I also don't believe the answer is to pretend that caring about beauty is always shallow. No, beauty can be misused, but so can almost anything good. Food can nourish us, or it can become an obsession. Work can give us purpose, or it can consume us. Money can provide security, or it can become our identity. Caring for our appearance can become vanity, but it can also become gratitude, dignity, creativity, preparation, and love. The question is not simply whether we care for our skin. The deeper question is, what are we hoping that care is going to give us? What are we trying to provide for ourselves? Are we trying to purchase worth? Are we trying to become acceptable? Are we terrified that aging will make us invisible? Or are we caring for ourselves because we recognize that this body is part of the life that we have been given? This is where Esther comes into this story for me. Before Esther in the Bible became a queen, she went through a long period of preparation. Esther 2 describes 12 months of prescribed beauty treatments, 6 months with oil and myrrh, and 6 months with perfumes and cosmetic preparations, a full year. That is a long time to prepare for one moment, one night. But I want to be careful with how we interpret this story. The women in Esther's world did not necessarily have the freedom or choice that modern women have. The beauty preparations happened within an ancient royal system that carried power, vulnerability, competition, and expectations we should not romanticize. Esther's story is far more complicated than a modern makeover story, and her greatest strength was not her cosmetics. The oil did not create her courage, the perfumes did not create her faith, and the treatments did not give her wisdom. They did not make her willing to risk her life for her people. Her physical preparation placed her in the palace, but her character determined what she did once she was there. And that matters to me. I hope it does to you. Because outward preparation can create an opportunity, but inward preparation determines what we do with it. Esther eventually had to decide whether she would remain silent or step forward. She had to face the possibility that the very position that gave her comfort might also have given her responsibility. She had to fast. She had to pray. She had to gather courage. She had to approach the king without knowing whether she would be welcomed or condemned. Her beauty may have helped open a door within the culture where she lived. But it was her courage, wisdom, timing, faith, and willingness to act that gave her story its power. And perhaps that is the lesson that we need. Caring for our appearance is not the destination. The question is what kind of women we are preparing to become. Beauty is a part of preparation, not an identity. There is something meaningful about preparation. We prepare meals for the people we love. We prepare our homes when guests are coming. We prepare our minds if we have to have a difficult conversation or do something hard like a test. We prepare our hearts through prayer and Bible study. We prepare our bodies through sleep, nourishment, movement, and just general care. And sometimes we prepare our appearance because the way we show up affects the way that we feel and the way we enter a moment. That does not mean our worth depends on our appearance. Esther's worth did not begin when the king noticed her. She was already a daughter of God. She already had a history. She already had a people. She already carried strength that the palace had not yet revealed. The crown did not create her worth. It created a setting in which part of her purpose could unfold. And I think women need to hear that. A serum cannot give you worth. Makeup cannot give you worth. A smaller body cannot give you worth. Being admired cannot give you worth. Your worth is not something that appears when another person approves of you. But because you are already valuable, you are allowed to care for yourself. That order matters. We do not care for ourselves so that we can become good enough or become worthy. We care for ourselves because we already are, my friend. Myrtle, Hadassah, and quiet strength. Let's talk about it. Esther was also called Hadassah. The myrtle tree is not always the largest or the loudest tree. It does not demand attention in the way that something enormous might, but it has beauty, fragrance, resilience, and symbolism. To me, Hadassah represents a kind of quiet strength, strength that may not look powerful at first, but it's strength that grows in preparation, strength that is rooted before it is revealed, and that connects with my own life. There have been times when I have just not felt strong. Living with multiple sclerosis has changed the way I experience my body. There have been seasons of numbness, weakness, fatigue, uncertainty, and fear. There have been moments when I have looked in the mirror and felt disconnected from the woman looking back. Sometimes illness makes the body feel less like a home and more like a problem that you're constantly trying to solve. And during those seasons, even a small act of care can matter. Washing my face, brushing my hair, putting on clean clothes, applying something gentle to my skin. Not because those actions cure anything, and it's not because they erase difficulty, but because they quietly say, I am still here. This body, this face is still worth caring for. It's still worthy of care. This woman has not been abandoned. That kind of beauty is not shallow, my friend. It is a refusal to neglect yourself just because life has been difficult. Sometimes we talk about preserving beauty as though beauty is a frozen moment, as though the goal is to preserve the exact face we had at 22. But maybe preserving beauty does not mean preserving youth. Maybe it means preserving vitality, softness, expression, warmth, light. Maybe it means helping the skin remain comfortable and cared for while allowing the face to continue telling the truth about our lives. My eyes have lines around them because I have smiled. My forehead, it moves because I think, I worry, I wonder, I react, and I express. And my face has changed because I have changed. And I don't want fear to become the foundation of my skincare routine. I don't want to stand in front of the mirror every night searching for proof that time is taking something from me. I want to stand there and recognize that time has also given me something: experience, discernment, compassion, perspective, courage, faith, stories and children, love and loss, a deeper understanding for myself. Yes, I want to preserve the health and radiance of my skin where I can, but I also want to preserve the woman inside of it. God's creation is full of beauty. I do not believe that beauty is meaningless. Creation is filled with beauty that seems to go beyond bare just utility. Flowers could exist without so many colors. The sky could become dark without painting itself pink, gold, orange, and purple. The birds could sing only functional warnings instead of melodies. The myrtle tree could survive without fragrance. Yet beauty appears again and again, not always because it is necessary for survival, but because it expresses something. Beauty can awaken gratitude. It can make us pause. It can turn our thoughts toward the Creator. And I think the human desire to create, arrange, tend, decorate, nourish, and just beautify, it may reflect part of that same impulse. But beauty is healthiest when it points beyond itself. A sunset is beautiful, but it does not ask us to worship the sky. A flower is beautiful, but it doesn't insist that every flower become identical. Beauty can exist without comparison. That is the kind of beauty I want. Beauty that celebrates life rather than creating fear. Beauty that makes room for aging. Beauty that honors individuality. Beauty that reflects care. Beauty that points toward grace. Imagine approaching your skincare routine differently tonight, as a small ritual of grace. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, my skin looks awful. Ugh, my face, I'm just getting so old. I need to, what am I gonna do? What happened to me? No. What if you said, this face has carried me through another day. These eyes have seen people I love. This mouth has spoken encouragement, apologies, prayers, truth, and laughter. This skin has protected me. This body has kept trying. Thank you. Then cleanse gently. Apply the serum slowly. Use the moisturizer. Care for your neck and hands. And let the routine become a moment of grace rather than criticism. The product does not need to become sacred. It is still skincare. It is still a cosmetic formula in a bottle. But the intention that we bring to an ordinary act can change the way the act affects us. The same few minutes can either reinforce shame or practice love. And I want to practice love. My honest first impression of this serum, I've used it before, it's not my first bottle, But let's return to the actual product. My first impression is that the JAFRA Royal Jelly Hydrating Lift Facial Serum feels lightweight, smooth, and comfortable. It absorbs without leaving the skin feeling like heavy or sticky. No, it's great. It's a very lightweight, comfortable feeling. When I first heard Royal Jelly, obviously I've known of it since I was a kid, but like when you think of it, you don't think of it being like something soft. You think of sticky maybe? But no. My skin feels softer and more conditioned. Like I can see why someone that's just hearing about it may not understand what it's going to do. I can see why someone with like dry or dull looking skin might enjoy using this. Like it's really probably going to help you. I mostly believe that its immediate benefit is hydration. That's okay, that's a good thing. The formula contains multiple ingredients that are capable of supporting the hydrated, smoother appearance that you're wanting. The royal jelly and botanical blend make the product more distinctive and interesting, but I wouldn't attribute every result to the royal jelly alone. It's the complete formula doing the work. And, I would not buy it because I expected a literal facelift from a bottle. I would consider it because I wanted something that was a lightweight hydrating serum, a softer and more radiant finish, like a luxurious feeling step that's going to encourage consistency in your skin texture. A product from a brand with a long history in my family and a skincare ritual that I genuinely enjoy. Enjoyment matters more than we sometimes admit, and a product only helps if we actually use it. So, who may not love this product? I want to be honest about who may not. If you only want fragrance free skincare, this might not be right for you. Or if you're super, super sensitive to bee products, this might not be good for you because it does actually have royal jelly into it. So if you do experience any kind of itching or problems from it, then you should definitely stop using it. But listen to your skin and just pay attention. Honestly, I haven't met anyone that's had an issue with this product, but your skin is your skin, like I've said. So, is it worth the price? Let's come to the practical question. Is it worth it? That depends on what you're comparing it to. If you're expecting it to permanently reverse aging, it's not going to work. No cosmetic serum is likely to meet that expectation. But if you want a lightweight moisturizer that really does make a difference, like you put it on and you can see and feel a difference, this product is going to be great for you. If the price does cause stress or guilt or requires any sacrifice, then it may not be the right product for you right now. Skincare shouldn't become a financial burden. Expensive doesn't always mean better. Affordable doesn't always mean inferior. And the best skincare routine is not the routine, you know, that's not going to be sustainable. You want to do something that is good for you. So if this isn't the right product, get on the website, check it out, look for the sales, look for the deals. They're always having promotional sales. And if it looks too pricey, don't be overwhelmed. Just keep getting back on because you can get such good sales. I promise you can. So here is how I would use it with this simple routine. First, I would gently cleanse my face, pat the skin dry, then put 2 or 3 drops of the Royal Jelly Hydrating Lift Serum on and press it into the face and neck. Then give it just a little bit of time to absorb. I personally would also follow with a moisturizer just to help seal in the hydration. Now, in the morning, complete the routine with a sunscreen if you're going to use sunscreen. JAFRA has a great broad spectrum available. And at night, this serum can be used again before your nourishing moisturizer. Now remember, you don't need to use half the bottle. More product doesn't automatically make better results. A small consistent amount is generally more useful than like a whole blob. Just use a little bit. All right, the deeper question. What are we preparing for? Esther's year of preparation, it was leading somewhere. She did not know every detail of what would eventually be asked of her. She could not see the full story yet, but she was still being positioned. And maybe some of us are also in a season of preparation. Perhaps you are rebuilding after illness. Perhaps you're preparing to begin something new. Perhaps you're raising children and feel as though your own identity has become a little blurry. I understand how that goes. With 7 kids, my oldest stepson is 25 and my youngest two are 13. Life can get a little bit blurry. Perhaps you're like me and you're approaching a new season. Of my 7 kids, 4 of them have flown the nest. Perhaps you're grieving the face or body you used to have. Perhaps you sense that God is asking you to become more visible, more courageous, or more willing to use your voice. Preparation is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like prayer or fasting. Sometimes it looks like therapy. Sometimes it looks like additional learning or nourishing your body. Sometimes it looks like simply getting out of bed, washing your face, and choosing not to give up on yourself today. The care is not the calling, but care can help us become ready to answer it. You are not preparing to become more worthy. I want to make this very clear. You are not preparing to become worthy. You are not preparing so that God will finally notice you, and you are not preparing so that other people will decide that you finally deserve love. You are preparing to live more fully from the worth you already possess, my friend. This is why the name You Are Worth It Health matters so much to me. You are worth caring for before you lose weight. You are worth caring for before your skin improves. You are worth caring for before your symptoms change. You are worth caring for before you become more productive. You are worth caring for before anyone compliments you. You are worth caring for today. Not because you are perfectly radiant, but because you are alive, created, growing, and loved. I have been thinking about calling this part of my JAFRA series the Royal Journey. Not because skincare turns us into queens, and not because a bottle gives us a crown, but because the word royal reminds me of Esther. It reminds me of Hadassah. It reminds me of preparation. It reminds me that a woman can care for her outward appearance while still understanding that her greatest strength lives so much deeper. A radiant life is not simply a youthful face. Radiance is peace that has survived hardship. It is kindness that did not become bitter, and it is courage that learned how to stand. It is wisdom that did not arrive easily. And it is faith that remained after disappointment. It is love that continues to give. Skincare may help the surface reflect a little more light, but the life behind the face is what gives that light meaning. So what is my first verdict on the JAFRA Royal Jelly Hydrating Lip Facial Serum? It is pleasant, lightweight, hydrating serum with a combination of humectants, soothing ingredients, botanical extracts, minerals, and royal jelly. The formula is designed to improve hydration and the visible appearance of dull, dry, and less firm skin. My skin feels softer and more conditioned after I apply it. I enjoy the texture. I enjoy the luxury of the experience. And because JAFRA has been part of my life for about 30 years and part of my mom's life for about 50 years, the product carries a personal connection for me. But I am not going to call it a miracle. I'm not going to claim it reverses aging. I'm not going to pretend royal jelly alone is responsible for everything it does. I am not going to suggest that any woman needs this bottle in order to be beautiful. It is a skincare option, Honestly, a potentially lovely one, but your radiance is larger than a product. Maybe preserving beauty is not about freezing the face in time. Maybe it is about preserving our willingness to participate fully in life, to keep caring, to keep preparing, to keep becoming, to keep showing up, and to keep tending to the body that allows us to serve, create, embrace, and speak, and smile and love. I don't want beauty to become my identity, but I also don't want fear of vanity to make me neglect the beauty God has placed within creation, including the life I see when I look into my own face. I want to care for my skin with grace, not because every line is an enemy, not because youth is the price of being seen, but because this face belongs to a woman whose life matters, and so does yours. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please, please comment. Have you tried JAFRA Royal Jelly products or any JAFRA? Do you remember the older Royal Jelly products, or have the women in your family ever used JAFRA? And I mean, if not, what do you use? My mom used it for about 50 years and is a JAFRA consultant. So she's given me permission to share her ordering website for anyone who wants to look at the products. You can get it in the description below. There's no pressure. I just want this series to be a place where we can learn and investigate and try products and just share our honest experiences and think more deeply about what beauty and self-care can really mean. You can also check out my website, URworthitHealth.com, and my books. I have a couple of them published, and I'll have the links below. Subscribe. Join me for the next part of the royal journey, because caring for your skin does not have to mean chasing perfection. It can mean recognizing that you are already worthy of gentleness, already worthy of preparation, already worthy of love, already worthy of becoming the most honest, graceful, and radiant expression of the beautiful daughter of God that you were created as and to be and to become. You are worth the care. You are worth the time. And you, my friend, are worth it. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for spending this time with me.